Good afternoon, it's Woody. This is kind of a fun one. I was just thinking about. I went to lunch and was talking to somebody about baling hay, and they asked me, "Why don't you put in earbuds or headphones? Why don't you listen to a podcast or some music?" And I do sometimes when I'm on the tractor, but one of the things that's nuanced about this is that when I'm baling hay, I need to be able to hear all these little noises that go on with this piece of machinery. So if I'm listening to something else or focusing on something else, then I don't hear what's going on in this machine behind me. And wow, what a message for us in terms of leadership and paying attention to what's going on in our teams, in our programs, in our organizations. We talked the other day about listening, and it only occurred to me when that person asked me about that listening has to be very intentional, and there are lots of little changes in the sound of our teams and the sound of our organizations that signal to us that we need to do something different. So, I don't know. I just had an epiphany moment. Thought it was a good question, and I think it's a good question for all of us to listen. We have to have we have to have the ability to hear what's going on. Well, okay. So what does that mean, and what does that look like as far as an organizational leader, team leader? That means you have to intentionally pay attention. You have to focus. You can't just let, I've heard in the past, communication's a low-hanging fruit. Well, it is, except for the fact that many of us, no offense, many of us don't practice it in a profitable, a reasonable, or a practical way that benefits our team. So think about that. I'm guilty of it too. With that, go do good things.